Stephen A. Smith is even setting the record straight on Donald Trump. One of the things that the Democrats really tried to nail home to win this election was that Donald Trump is a racist. We heard it so many times. And of course, that's just one tool that was in their toolbox of Donald Trump character assassination, but it was certainly one thing that we saw the Democrats go to again and again and again. And I've talked about it on this program, the very fine people hoax. Over and over, Kamala talking about it during the debate, the ABC so-called fact checkers letting her get away with it. Over and over, the media has perpetuated the narrative that Donald Trump thought that there were very good people on both sides. Barack Obama, as Joe Rogan said recently, a lot of respect lost there, not just from Joe Rogan, but from me as well, that he went out and he claimed that Donald Trump was a racist in the days ahead of the campaign. The same Donald Trump that came within millimeters of losing his life in Butler, Pennsylvania. Yeah, Barack Obama and the Democrats thought it was okay to go out and continue to paint this man as a racist over and over and over again, stoking fear and anger towards him. And I would argue making life more dangerous for Donald Trump in a year where not only is he lucky to be going back to the White House again, perhaps some might say, but he's lucky to be alive, first and foremost. A very serious matter. And Stephen A. Smith, while sitting down with Bill Maher, addressed this very recently.
Is he really in his heart hateful? No, I think
I don't
think his motivation is I don't like black people. I think his motivation is everybody must love me.
Thank you. And that's why, that's right there. What you just said, everybody must love me.
It's his narcissism. It's not his racism.
I have never called him a racist. I have never spoken about him that way. Ever. Not one time. Not one time.
I've said it before, and so have others. Donald Trump has an extensive public history in this country. I knew who Donald Trump was when I was 13 years old. I mean, back in the days of the USFL, for God's sakes. Remember the New Jersey Generals? Donald Trump, The Apprentice, Donald Trump in commercials, Donald Trump in Home Alone 2. Was it Home Alone 2, the sequel that he was in? Donald Trump doing McDonald's commercials with Grimace. Donald Trump everywhere. You could say anything that you want about Donald Trump. You can like him, you can dislike him, you can think he's a good guy, you can think he's an asshole. I never heard anybody call him a racist. Never. Not until he got involved in presidential politics, and then it started. I think the man has a track record that is indicative of someone who is not a racist. So credit to Stephen A. Smith there for keeping it real. Another guy who likes to keep it real is Jim Harbaugh. Last night, the Harbowl. I always get a little bit excited. I'm a proud graduate of Western Kentucky University. Go Hilltoppers. And Jack Harbaugh used to be our coach. He led us to a Division IIA national championship about, 20 or a little over 20 years ago. And of course, both of his boys have turned out to be pretty goddamn good football coaches themselves. They met last night in Los Angeles as the Ravens took on the Chargers. And before the game, Jim Harbaugh had some words about the family feud between he and his brother.
Oh, I love my brother, and I'd lay down my life for my brother, but I would not let him win a football game, and he wouldn't want it that way.
That's a commitment to winning right there. This man would lay down his life for his brother, but not when it comes to the gridiron. And of course, his brother got the better of him in the Super Bowl a while back in the ultimate Harbowl, the Super Harbowl there. But you know what? That's a commitment to winning that I admire as a fan of sports, and it's almost as strong as Tommy Lasorda's commitment to winning fights with mascots. Does anybody remember Tommy Lasorda's feud with the Philly Fanatic back in the day? Give me a little more of this. You're not getting this in Major League Baseball today. Look at that. It's like WWE there. the final straw just hitting him with the dummy Tommy Lasorda that the Fanatic had. And people ask, was Tommy really mad there? I said, you never bet against Tommy Lasorda in a street fight with a mascot. Does the Pirate Parrot want some? You can come get some, Pirate Parrot. The Pirate Parrot's probably high on cocaine, if we're being honest. At least that's the way that I remember it. But I could look at this GIF all day. Let's just keep rolling that GIF for about the next 5 minutes. Tommy Lasorda fighting mascots. I just want to hear Kung Fu fighting in the background. Whoa, ho, ho, ho. And there comes Tommy Lasorda out. He got Whoopi ejected at Olympic Stadium one time. I know some of y'all remember that. Whoopi was on top of the dugout, giving him problems. Whoopi became the first Major League mascot ejected because Tommy Lasorda got salty. So he was feuding with mascots all the time. But, you know, look, I like to have fun. And fighting mascots is fun. You know what else is fun? Jameis Winston. Am I the only person? I know I'm not. Jameis Winston, I'm falling in love with this kid. He's been in the league forever. I never had a super strong opinion about him because other than I thought he was a fun gunslinging quarterback. As I said to Ronnie on this program not that long ago, he had a season in Tampa Bay where he had 33 touchdown passes and 30 interceptions. That's entertaining. Maybe not if you're a Buccaneers fan, but it's certainly entertaining. I like me a good gunslinging quarterback. But one thing that I really regret is before this year, I never really heard Jameis Winston speak a lot. And once you hear Jameis Winston speak, if you're like me, you want to hear Jameis Winston speak more. And what could be better than Jameis Winston mic'd up for NFL Films? Let's take a listen.
And we back again out here playing some football on Thursday night. Yes, yes, oh my gosh. And we out here, we outside. I ain't never played in the freaking snow before, but I know one thing, we're gonna make some snow angels by dominating the line of scrimmage. We're gonna 3, 1, 2, 3. Wait, let's go, man.
You can't make Jameis Winston up. I tweeted the other day that he's like a great character from a sitcom when I was a kid. Like, just imagine a sitcom that never existed, that debuted somewhere between, 1977 and 1982. And Jameis Winston is a character on that show. I would have been consuming that show weekly. I'd probably be tweeting about it now because everything this guy says comes out wrong, but also comes out right at the same time. And he is not a captain, by the way. And this pisses me off here before we dig into this tweet. Jameis Winston is not a captain of the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson is. And that seems fucked up to me. I would go out and run through a wall for Jameis Winston after I got done giggling at his inspirational pregame speech. But if Jameis Winston ever does become a captain, then maybe I'm going to have to reevaluate my captain rankings here. But let's take a look at my most recent captain rankings. I've got Stubing in my top 5, along with Captain Kangaroo, my brother from another mother, Captain Caveman, Captain Kirk, and Captain Crunch. And that's how you pronounce it, folks. It's not Captain Crunch. It's Captain Crunch. Look at the box. Honorable mention to Captain Lou Albano and Daryl Dragon. And I now go to the international streaming star, the captain of the Ohio State Buckeyes fan club. I speak, of course, of the great Ronnie T-shirts coming to me from Nashville, Tennessee. And Ronnie, do you know who Daryl Dragon is? Did you get that reference?
Is that the captain? It would be my only guess.
That is the goddamn captain from Captain and Tennille.
So I got it right?
Daryl Dragon. You got it right. Ding, ding, ding. Nice. Yeah, much better than those pathetic Wheel of Fortune contestants that we looked at yesterday on this program. You're crushing it, Ronnie.
A feather in my map?
Yeah, it's a feather in your map that you got that one right, Ron. Look, Jameis Winston, man, I want to talk about Jameis for a second before we get into more important things. How did you know that he sounded like this and that he had this incredible personality for all of these years? Because it somehow escaped me that he is who he is, if I may borrow a phrase from Dennis Green.
So a couple things about Jameis. I've seen other players who are mic'd up, and it really feels like they know they're mic'd up, and they're like putting on a show, and they're saying things that they wouldn't normally say. And I genuinely believe that Jameis forgot that he was mic'd up, and that was pure, unadulterated Jameis Winston. And like you said, I could watch like an entire episode, like 30 minutes, an hour show that's just Jameis talking. So I have heard Jameis talk before. I've heard him on other podcasts. But do you remember probably one of his most famous Jameis, one of his most famous Jameis-isms, if you will? It's when he talked about eating the W, and he's talking, and he licked all of his fingers of the W. Like, that was years ago. But
could you just keep doing that for a while, Ron? The visual. How did he do it, Ron? Jesus. All right, well.
Don't turn it into something dirty, Ricky. Come on.
I wasn't turning it into something dirty. I just thought it was funny. Look, the Browns sent out like a 13-minute super clip of him mic'd up. And one of the ones that I saw recently that made me laugh is he's got the team huddled around him, and he says, it's not about the lights. It's not about the camera. It's not about the action. It is about the action. You know, he corrects himself a moment later.
Well,
he just misspeaks like all the time.
Is it like an Animal House?
Yeah.
Just let him go. Just let him go.
Yeah, he's on a roll. Just go with it. And then I'm trying to imagine a world in which Deshaun Watson makes $250 million and just sucks as a human being, it seems. And then you got this guy who, you know, we were teasing him or whatever when he was taken up for Deshaun, you know, saying that man worked hard and everybody booed him when he got injured. But but Jameis is so earnest and sincere, or at least he appears to be, that it's just, I don't know how you could not like the guy. I really don't.
Don't you feel like Jameis is going to have like a mega church someday? But it's not going to be the kind of like Joel Osteen where you're like, yeah, you're full of crap. It's like, no, this is real. Like, Jameis is real, and he's got a mega church, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, I would go, Ronnie.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, I would absolutely go. Maybe that's the only way for me to get religion at this point in my life. I'll go to the church of Jameis. Did you see, Ron, the video footage here? Let's see if we've got it teed up. A car chase through a cornfield, straight out of Dukes of Hazzard. Take a look at this. Tim, do we know what state this was? This has to be the South. Okay, it's Indiana. All right, it's Indiana, which is kind of the same thing. A hunter.
Is that a minivan?
Ron.
Is that a minivan?
Is in his hunter's blind here. It's a minivan. That's the best part. That is like the least cool vehicle to ever lead cops on a chase.
Dodge Caravan.
I got to get my kid to soccer practice, and I got to get him to soccer practice right now. Yeah. The initial clip has the Dukes of Hazzard theme, which we can't play, unfortunately.
You can I sing it? You can sing it.
Just some good old boys. Never meaning no harm.
Never been in
trouble with the law ever since the day they was born. But look at that, man. Fantastic. The mind boggles. Do we have an answer? Some guys out there hunting deer and just like, here comes Karen with the kids in the back leading Roscoe P. Coltrane.
So we don't know anything about why, right?
I don't know the details of why.
Okay.
I have the feeling it's one of those stories where it's just better not to know.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll work on getting those details in.
Just theater of the mind,
Yeah, theater of the mind is much better in that case. But that's some quality policing there in Indiana, where they obviously believe enough in law enforcement that they'll chase your ass down through a cornfield. Not so much the case in Denver, Ron, where Denver's mayor, Mike Johnston, is so hurt at the idea that ICE might deport people who are in his city illegally that he said that we're going to have a Tiananmen Square moment if ICE comes to Denver thinking that they're going to take the illegal immigrants out of this city. He said that the citizens would stand up, that 50,000 Denverites, I think they're called Denverites, Ron, would stand up against this, and he would, stand in the way of the law being enforced. And Tom Homan, the new border czar, incoming border czar, had some words, Ron, for the mayor of Denver. Let's listen to him, and then I'll get your reaction.
Well, look, me and the Denver mayor, we agree on one thing. He's willing to go to jail. I'm willing to put him in jail. Because there's a statute, it's Title 8 United States Code 1324 III, and what it says is, it's a felony if you knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from immigration authorities. It's also a felony to impede a federal law enforcement officer. So if we don't want to help, that's fine. He can get the hell out of the way. But we're going to go do the job. President Trump has a mandate for American people. We got to secure this country. We got to save American lives. And I find it shocking that any mayor of a city would say, President Trump's been clear. We want to concentrate on public safety threats and national security threats. I find it hard to believe that any mayor or governor would say they don't want public safety threats removed from their neighborhoods. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on in Denver, but we're going to go and we're going to fix it.
Ron, isn't it amazing? Like, every time I hear that man talk, I'm like, wait a minute. Could we have just been doing this all along? Is it actually as simple? One of the things that I'm starting to see with some of the appointments that Trump is making is it kind of makes you feel like maybe things aren't as complicated always as the government makes it seem. Maybe it is sometimes just as simple as having a willingness and an appetite to enforce the law.
You are correct. I'll tell you what, that dude, Tom Homan, his middle name is I don't F around. Like, he is just.
It's true.
He just doesn't. He's the mayor from Boston. She's making some dumb comments about what's going to happen, and he's like, yeah, no. And then your governor. What's your governor's name? Big dude.
J.B. Pritzker.
Yeah, big
the
dude,
Fred
right?
Flintstone of
politics.
No neck.
Yeah, that guy. He made some insane comment about, you're not going to come to my state and do that. And Homan's like, well, yeah, we probably will. So yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, every time this guy opens his mouth, I like him a little bit better. He just has no fucks to give, Ron.
Nope.
He has no fucks to give energy. Everything that he says.
That mayor from Denver, is he like a Gavin Newsom wannabe? He looks like he got the Gavin Newsom starter kit, looks just like him. Now he's trying to govern like him. From everything that I've read and heard is Denver is just kind of a joke, with this guy and his what he wants to see happen there. So I guess
it feels like he fell through the socialist tree and hit every fucking branch, Roddy, is what I think. Leadership is what Tom Homan brings to the table, and I don't know, it makes me think a little bit, Ron, of the leadership of that sweet Greek bastard himself, the great Telly Savalas, Theo Kojak. I tweeted leadership, baby. When you went into a battle of the network stars under the tutelage of Telly Savalas, you were already psychologically ahead of ABC and NBC by 10 points. Were you a Battle of the Network Stars guy, Ronnie, back in the day?
I did like the Battle of the Network Stars, but I was obsessed with the Superstars. Absolutely obsessed. When the Superstars came on, it was damn close to the Super Bowl for me. But yeah, I did enjoy. I mean, how could you not enjoy the Battle of the Network Stars? Especially the dunk tank.
Oh, man. The day
Catherine
that Robert
Bach.
Urich
Was it Catherine Bach or
put Catherine Bach? Yeah, Daisy Duke got dunked, and young Ricky Cobb became a man that day. Ron. or got a little closer anyway. I was too young. I didn't become a man that day. I was probably 9 years old, but I remember it. Let me tell you, I've said before. Yeah, that was. I was like, wait a minute. What was that sensation that I just felt, Ron? But yeah, definitely memorable. In other news, Ronnie, Piers Morgan is advocating that The View, your favorite program, he's saying that The View should be canceled. He penned an op-ed piece in the New York Post in which Piers Morgan says, and I quote, "I don't like cancel culture, but given that the hosts of The View have, by their own admission, worked so hard to cancel Donald Trump, it's time they were canceled." Ronnie T-shirts, your reaction?
I mean, I'm just going to stay true to myself, Ricky. I don't think they should be canceled. I think that the market speaks, and if they can get enough viewers that ABC can sell enough advertising that they can be on the air, then I'm all for them saying whatever they want to say. I mean, I claim that I'm a free speech absolutist, and I'm not going to change it just because it's somebody that I can't stand, and I think this just spews insane, unfounded comments. But I still think they have a right to say it. Now, I would say to ABC, if your viewership goes down and nobody wants to advertise on the show anymore, then you should probably cancel it. But I don't think they should be canceled at all.
Well, here, because I agree with you. I think if you're going to take the position that you and I have taken on free speech, that it's intellectually dishonest to have any other opinion than that.
I will not be that guy.
I welcome the speech of people that I disagree with, and leave it to the ratings. If 10 million people want to watch that, then have at it, right? You're speaking to something that some people want to hear. And if people reject it and the ratings suck and the company is losing money, at that point, you're being canceled as a economic decision, because in the marketplace of ideas, you're being rejected by the public. You're not being artificially censored, Ron. And so I couldn't agree with you more on that. Let them talk. Because honestly, sometimes I think they're one of the best recruiting tools that the Republican Party has. Yeah. What could possibly drive somebody more to reason than listening to the deep insights of someone like Whoopi Goldberg? Let's go back in the time machine now to 2020 and reflect upon the time that Whoopi Goldberg put forth Dr. Jill Biden as a fine candidate for Surgeon General.
Dr. Jill becomes a Surgeon General. His wife. Because Joe Biden's wife, because he would never do it, but she's a hell of a doctor. She's an amazing doctor.
I thought she was a doctor and PhD. Yeah,
I could be wrong. I thought she was.
I think she's a teacher, but
Now, isn't that interesting? The lies that we tell ourselves that we want to hear. Now, First of all, she really thought that she was a medical doctor.
Oh, wait. She's a really good doctor. She's a good doctor. Yeah, she's a good doctor.
She's an amazing doctor.
Amazing.
She's an amazing doctor, Whoopi said. Yeah. The lives that she has saved, all the people that came out of the operating room after life-saving surgery and said, "Thank you, Dr. Biden. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Jill Biden." Okay, first of all, look, as somebody that taught college for over 20 years, let me tell you right now, I don't give a fuck if you're a doctor of education. Okay? Doctor of education. If you can't save somebody's life, don't fucking call yourself a doctor. I ain't impressed. I worked with people who were doctors every day for 20 years. And I mean, they were doctors every day for 20 years. Some of the dullest fucking minds that you'd ever want to encounter. There's a lot of doctors in college administration and in classrooms that's a great title and they love it. And here's another thing that I'll tell you. The more somebody is attached to that title, the weaker that their security is within themselves. I always think it's such a douche move when somebody clings on to that title when they're not even an actual doctor. Years ago, I was taking a biology class at Western, Ron, And I had a guy named Dr. Andersland. That's right, motherfucker. It's been almost 30 years, but you never know which kid in your class is going to end up having a TV show. So here we go, Dr. A. He wanted to be called Dr. A. And he was a nice enough guy, but I remember one time I accidentally referred to him as Mr. A in a paper, and he red penned it, corrected it to doctor, and told me that he was Dr. A. Well, the A must stand for anus then, because, are you really that hung up on the fact that you're a doctor? Okay, well then save my life if I have a medical emergency, motherfucker. And I've seen it happen. I had one colleague at my old college who got called out by another colleague that he shared an office with because he referred to her by her first name in front of a student. And she contacted him later and said that, how could you address me? And basically said, as a woman, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, look, you teach at a community college and you're doing well to be doing that. Don't fucking get off on being a doctor. So this whole Dr. Jill Biden thing, doctor, whatever. And you got people out there who actually think that she's a real doctor. Give me a fucking break. And then Whoopi saying, oh, she's amazing. She's not just a doctor. She's an incredible doctor. She should be the Surgeon General, Ron. Sorry, that is one of my pet peeves. I got triggered there. So that's my rant about doctor of education. Not even a PhD. She's an EDD. Get the fuck out of here with that.
I have something similar for you. So you know that my company, when I'm not doing this, me and Ryan, just the two of us, I work out of my house. Ryan works out of his house. And you can't believe how many people that are in the same situation as that we are. Their business cards will say CEO. Like my business card just says Ron. That's it. It says my name on it, the company, phone number, whatever. But there's other guys I've seen out there where it's a company of one and on it it'll say CEO. And I'm like, are you? Are you really? You're really the CEO?
Yeah. It's a great title. That's the thing about owning your own company. You can give yourself any title that you want. Don't you know that I'm the founder of Super 70 Sports? I'm the president of Super 70 Sports. I have every title. I'm the dear leader of Super 70 Sports, whatever title you want to give me.
It is, but it's just kind of douchey. It's just douchey.
I have a friend who, when he would play video games, you enter your initials at the end. He would enter his initials as PhD. What the fuck are we doing? You know what PhD stands for? It stands for piled higher and deeper, because that's all it is. You're just wading through the bullshit at a higher level. That's Doctor of Philosophy. Charles Barkley is speaking out about the Bronny James situation, saying that it's just not working. That this arrangement that they have where he's playing home games with the G League team and also riding the bench for the Lakers at the same time. It's like they've got him on the Lakers shuttle bus here. Barkley said that he belongs in the G League and he's not going to get better sitting on the bench in NBA games and skipping G League road games. Ron, I gotta say, I don't think Chuck is wrong. What do you think about how the Bronny situation is developing here?
I mean, we talked about it the other day, man. He's just not very good. And if he's got any chance of getting good, there's only one way to do that. It's to play and it's to practice. And everybody knows that NBA teams do not practice basketball once the season starts. They do walkthroughs and shoot-arounds and stuff like that, but they don't practice. And so the kid has, the way he's going, he has virtually no chance. He'll stick around as long as his dad's in the league is basically what's going to happen. And if he's happy with that, LeBron's happy with that, I guess they can do whatever they want.
Barkley said it's awful is his word. And look, I understand that LeBron wanted this, but this is really feeling to me like the dream of the father has superseded the best interest of the son. And I think that happened the minute that he was drafted and that he went to the NBA, because as we've said, he could have used more seasoning in college, at least a couple more years, probably should have used all 3 of the remaining years of eligibility that he had. He's not a hardship case. You know what I mean? As we used to call them when we were growing up, right? The idea that I'm going out early to provide for my family. Bronny certainly didn't need to do that. He needs to play basketball to have any chance, but Dad has wanted this for so long, and I think, unfortunately, LeBron has been selfish about this. And yeah, sure, okay, they played in the same game. They've been teammates. What does that mean when LeBron is out of the league in 3 years, if that's the case? I hate to see the kid get robbed of whatever slim chance he has of carving out an NBA career for himself. It's just, I don't know, man. I feel like he is just the pawn in a game that's being played with him that is not serving what is good for Bronny James.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like parents of child actors or maybe like dance moms, things like, they're living vicariously. Yeah. Like, I mean, he's not living vicariously through him, but it's just got the same vibe, right? Like there's something selfish about it. Like you said, it just feels selfish.
This isn't toddlers and tiaras, Ron. This is the National Basketball Association.
Honey Boo Boo? Is he the Honey Boo Boo of basketball?
Yeah. Why does LeBron need this? I mean, it's an answer to a trivia question. It's like, okay, you did it. When the Griffies did it in MLB,
it was real.
It's like Ken Griffey Jr. was the #1 prospect in baseball. He earned his way there. And Ken Griffey Sr. was still a viable, decent veteran. I mean, they both belong there. This is forced. It's forced in order to, so LeBron can check one off his bucket list. And I feel bad for the kid. As bad as you can feel for a kid that's in the NBA and is a millionaire, I actually feel kind of bad about him. But more importantly, Ron, I need to ask you the question that's on everyone's mind right now, not just my own. And that is, of course, what the fuck, Ron?
I mean, have we ever had anything teased as much as this banana? Like, you desperately want to find out about this whole banana situation.
At this point in time, it's all I can do. I'm resisting the impulse to Google search duct tape banana in my personal spare time. But the professional broadcaster that I am, I have not looked. I still don't know. I'm finally going to get my payoff on this banana right now.
Well, and you want to give the people your authentic response.
Yes. This is why I don't prep the C block. You know how we do. I do not prep What the Fuck Ron, because I want you to tell me what it is that you've got. And this is just my genuine reaction. So whatever it is that you're about to tell me, I have no idea what's coming.
All right. So there's a crypto bro named Justin Sun. You know what a crypto bro is, right? It's a guy that
I know in general what a crypto bro is. Yes.
All right. Just want to make sure. So there's an Italian artist, and Italian artists doing kind of, I don't know, simple art is kind of the theme today. His name is Maurizio Catalan. And this guy, Justin Sun, was the highest bidder for you ready, Ricky? A banana duct taped to a wall. $6.2 million, Ricky. Authentic response, please.
My authentic response is that is one of the few times in my life that I have been authentically speechless. That's it?
That's it.
Somebody paid $6.2 million for something that any one of us can do ourselves. at any moment.
But you haven't. You'd never thought of doing it, have you, Ricky? So on top of this guy, on top of Justin paying $6.2 million for this, he claims he's going to eat it. Like,
and is that going to be his act of art? Is it expired yet? How fucking fresh is this fucking banana?
Yeah, I'm actually not quite sure. But there was so I did a little deep dive on it on silly art. So in 2021, another Italian artist, Salvatore Guerrero, sold, are you ready for this? An invisible sculpture. And there you can see the invisible sculpture for $18,000.
Dude, I can't even. People are fucking stupid. You know how they say that things are worth whatever somebody will pay for it?
Yep.
Are you fucking kidding me? A duct tape banana, a nothing. This guy just sold air with a certificate. This is like these NFT. Remember when NFTs were going to be the thing?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if you are dumb enough, first of all, I don't know. I mean, maybe some people have too much money. Mm-hmm. Who has $6.2 million to waste on a duct tape banana? And
apparently,
does it come
Justin
with the wall? What's it taped to?
It's a building in downtown Chicago. I don't know. And you get the building too, right?
What's it taped to? You get the building. Well, if I get the building too, I don't understand, Ron. Like, I don't even find it amusing. I just find it contemptuously fucking stupid. And it makes me think, Ron, I need to figure out what the drug is that will, forget the banana splits, Ron. I need to find the drug that'll help me understand why somebody would pay $6.2 million for a banana that's been duct taped to the wall. What the hell? Honest to God, why is it's making me a little mad, Ron. Why am I angry about this? But it's just so fucking stupid. All the things in the world that could be done with $6.2 million, and you're going to choose that? I don't know, Ron. What else? What else is going on?
So 3 weeks ago, Donald Trump was elected to be president. Do you remember that?
I have a vague recollection that there was an election a while back. Yes, sir, I do.
Well, it looks like Secretary of State Anthony Blinken received a letter from Representative Darrell Issa, who's not very happy that the government is spending money on therapy sessions for employees who are distraught over Trump being elected president. So there's going to be two sessions. One is just a session to cry, Ricky. So it's just a crying session. And then the other one, it's to help those distraught employees figure out ways to deal with the stress and manage their feelings in these difficult times.
Dude, listen, I am a believer in therapy. Okay? I am a believer in what therapy can do for people, and I think therapy is a good thing. But we've obviously gone way too fucking far here. This country is so fucking far up its own ass in its feelings that we have lost the ability to function as adults in a lot of cases, apparently. And not being able to cope with the result of an election, that this is a case of, honestly, sometimes our parents had it right, okay? Sometimes our parents had it right. Sometimes it's rub some dirt on it, walk it off, toughen up, Buttercup, you'll be all right. And we need a healthy dose of that as a society right now. And that is not a rejection of therapy. I've got a therapist and she's a goddamn good one. And it's done me a lot of good in my life, Ryan. But I'm not in therapy for my feelings are hurt because the wrong person won the election. Who are these people that are so weak that they can't function, that they're looking for safe spaces? What are we even doing? In the State Department. This isn't This is the State Department of our government. These are supposed to be people that are better than average, presumably. And they're that upset, they're that wounded that they need to process their feelings.
Hey, OutKick fans on YouTube, if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and make your way over to OutKick.com where you can watch the full episode.